The Willermans have been farming on the land here in Hamilton since the early part of the 20th century. Back in the early 50s, my father started raising tomatoes for Campbell soup. They were looking around, and we just happened to have a neighbor that lives in Hamilton that works for the Campbell Soup Company that says, I know somebody nearby where I live who is still involved in farming and raises tomatoes. Maybe they would be interested, and hence the connection was reestablished. What they wanted to do was to use an original beefsteak tomato from New Jersey for this original recipe soup. A beefsteak tomato is a tomato that has characteristics of size, quality, and color, and most importantly, flavor. We are allowing the tomatoes to mature to their highest level of ripeness right on the vine. This way we can capture the greatest amount of flavor on the vine as a vine-ripened product before it's picked, shipped up to Camden, and processed into the soup the same day. When you're talking about raising plants from seeds in the greenhouses and getting those vegetable transplants ready to be planted in the field, I find that rather rewarding and a very pleasurable process. This particular recipe they found in a vault in the corporate headquarters really is a recipe for tomato soup that was made by the company before they went through the process of condensing soup, which is usually what you receive when you go to the store and buy tomato soup that's in the can. This is not condensed. It is ready to go right out of the bottle. You don't add water. It is their original recipe that Dr. Durrance formulated back when he first attempted to market soup. If you see this label on the shelf, Campbell's Beefsteak Tomato Soup, I would behoove you to try it. We have grown those tomatoes with an exceeding amount of care to ensure that the quality and flavor is there. If you try the soup, I think you will be pleasantly surprised.
All right, Mr. Willerman, I am gonna taste both of these soups, including your beefsteak tomato soup, because I wanna be pleasantly surprised as well. And you know what? We picked a perfect day for this taste test, and look outside. It is snowing today, so what do you do on a snowy winter day? You eat tomato soup. All right, so we all know the typical Campbell's tomato soup in the can here. I'm gonna give this a little stir. Smells like we're all used to as little kids growing up, coming in from a snowy day. It's exactly how I remember. It's extremely creamy, but has a slight, almost tomato flavor if you were to bite into a tomato. Not overwhelming, but just a little bit. Really no spice to it, pretty plain note. Now, I'm excited to do it. I've never tried this. I didn't even know this existed, so I'm pretty stoked about this. So, okay. Now this one smells a little fresher than this. And it's a little bit thinner, as you can see, which I would prefer in tomato soup, so I don't want it too thick. Ooh. This one almost tastes a little peppery. Definitely has more in-depth married flavors to it. This definitely gives off the aroma as more of a homemade tomato soup rather than coming from a can. If someone, your grandmother or your grandfather or parent was to make homemade tomato soup from scratch like I do, with tomatoes and carrots and onions, but that one definitely tastes more homemade. Go for it.